So then we're going to take, if you guys can see this, I'm rolling out a little bit of fondant. I'm take a little bit here. This actually is a really good project if you wanted to use modeling chocolate. This would be a really great, modeling chocolate would be a really great medium to use for this. I'm going to have to get some water. A little bit of water right here. I'm going to put this scary, wonky mouth kind of thing going on here. Okay, I'm going to actually work on smoothing that into his face a little bit. Usually letting this dry a little bit is a good idea. Again, I prefer a tool that is different from this one, but it actually, there are some clay tools out there. I have one right here. I can't find my other one. Actually, you can see that right there. It's got kind of a rubbery tip. Those are the ones I really, really like for, you know, sculpting things. And kind of just smooth this out a little bit. Giving kind of a weird. There we go. And there are some fondants out there that are much better for blending, and I would recommend NASA fondant is a really, really great fondant. It's on the pricier side, but in my opinion, it is so worth it. Also, there is Fondorific. Also, a little bit more on the expensive side, but it's still a really great fondant and worth the price. Fondant, you want to tap that up for me? So just
Yep.
Thank you. Okay, and we're going to go on the bottom. We're going to do squish a bit. When you're trying to make figures and things, and you see the lines and cracks and stuff in the fondant, just squish it. Do a lot of squishing, and then rolling as you squish, and that will get all of the lines and creases off. Okay, and here we go. We're going to take this down. Let's this a little bit. The edges a little bit, and we're going to make kind of a second chin of sorts. We're just kind of going over what we've already done, and even things out a little bit, but not too much. We want them to still look kind of crazy. Okay, so here we go. We're going to have, let me go over this out. I forgot my water. Usually the fondant I use doesn't really require that much water. I can just stick it right on. And also depending on where you live humidity-wise. Okay, and we're going to have to clean up these sides here a little bit so he's not too messy. You don't need to worry too much again inside right here because he's going to have black, but we want to smooth it in so that it's going to stay. And so that when you put the black in, it's not going to have too many, bubbly things going on. Okay, so then we're going to create some extra lines in here to kind of, it'll kind of hide where everything was and kind of accent the crazy mouth. Okay, when you're working with fondant like this, if I was to work more on that, I would actually have these covered. But as is, I'm actually kind of done what I'm doing here. So I'm not too concerned about, you know, that side of things. I'm going to, this is not coming together very well, so I'm just going to take a little bit of water on my finger, kind of rub it down, and that'll help it to come together and stick a little bit better. Again, modeling chocolate is great for this because modeling chocolate blends really, really well. Also, like I said, the massa fondant, fonderific fondant, they blend really well, and that's what makes them really great for, you know, sculpted cakes and things like that. So definitely ones I would recommend. Also, I have to put in a plug for Liz Merrick. She's been on our show before. Liz Merrick has a marshmallow fondant kind of hybrid recipe that she uses, and it's a really great one too. I've used it many times, and I really, really like it. And I was going to do Liz Merrick fondant today, but if I couldn't make a cake, I'm not going to be able to make the fondant. So, okay, so now I've got his funky lips that are just kind of raw. Okay. Now we're going to add his nose. Okay. And his nose we want to be kind of, I don't know, we're going to go kind of fat on his nose. Spread it out a little bit so that he's got some big nostrils. Okay, some big nostrils. And I'm just kind of shaping it with my hand, kind of doing our thing here. I wanted to have kind of a bump in the middle of his nose and then a bump at the end. Okay, about like that. And then I'm going to come in and add in a little bit more detail. This tool right here that I showed you, the Reverie tool, that is a really great one for adding nostrils. You just kind of poke it up in there. It makes a perfect nose, especially for something like this. Okay, so there you go. There's those big old nostrils. We're going to make them a little bit big too. Kind of flaring out and pulling a little bit as I stick this little thing in, just kind of opening it up. And we'll do the same on the other side. Kind of just pull, flare it out, open it up. Okay. And then I'm going to take our little tool here and give him, oh, I need some, he's sticking a little bit, I need some cornstarch. Okay. And then we're going to add some definition right here for his outside of his nostrils. I need to clean this off. It's going to start sticking. And keep our bump there. And then kind of just do lines going up. Because he's our pumpkin guy. He still has lines everywhere. Okay. So there we have his nose that we're going to stick on now. Alright, kind of stick him on. See how he's coming together a little bit? I think he's looking pretty fun. Okay, and then again, try and blend things down a little bit so that they're smooth to the surface. And if you can't hide those seams, just add to them. Just add more definition, more lines, more, clearness. So that it blends in well with. Okay, there we go. A little bit. And there we go. We've got our nostril-y nose. Okay. Then for the eyes, we are going to do something kind of fun with the eyes. For the eyes, we're going to want to push in just a little bit so that we have a little bit of an indent. We don't need to go too much into it because he's going to be kind of buggy-eyed. He's going to have his eyes going blah. Okay, so there we go. We're going to have one eye that's bigger than the other too, so they're kind of yeah, kind of cool. Okay, so then we're going to make our eyeball. This one's going to be the big one. I'm going to kind of smooth it out on there, or kind of pinch it down on the outsides so that it's a little more flat to the surface. And then, you know, just make sure it's rounded. And then we're going to stick them on here. That's going to be a nice big eye, okay? Okay, what kind of time are we looking at?
We're actually 7 minutes over right now.
Are we?
Yeah, it's 11:37.
Oh gosh. Well, if you guys are okay hanging out, I'll try and hurry and finish up. This is me. I get into stuff and lose track of time. Okay, so we're gonna go with a smaller eyeball over here. Again, do the same thing, pinch down. Alright, he's going to have a little bit more of a wonky eye over here because I'm in right now. Okay. A little bit of water. We're going to put his eye kind of up here this time so that he's kind of looking a little crazy. Okay, and then we're going to put and this is where our attitude, you know, if he's going to be scary, if he's going to be scared, if he's going to be, you know, I don't know, happy. This is where the definition is going to come in, is in adding the detail to the eyes. Okay, so we're going to add this guy right here. We're going to roll out another thin one. So he's going to kind of be droopy-eyed a little bit.
So not any, I haven't seen any more questions, but just so you know, there's a lot of positive feedback. People like the nose. People were saying you're great.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to add on, water. Add a little bit of water here. And then I'm going to stick them on.
And someone just barely said, well, Chef Ramona said, Amelia, please take your time. Don't rush art.
Don't rush art. Thank you. All right, I will try to be quick, but not too quick.
And if those of you have to go back to work or whatever,
yeah, if you have to go, we'll have this available later on if you want to come and finish. Okay. Okay, add a little bit of water in here. And there you go. I don't know if you guys can see the under part of his eye very well with the two lines there, because I just thought it would be fun to have a little bit more droop in definition. Okay. Add a few lines to kind of make it all look like it's blending together. And then do another one. Oh, we still have some here. Okay. The other side, well, we're not going to do just the same because we want them to be, like I've been saying all along, we want them to have character. We want them to kind of be crazy and a little bit creepy, but still fun. That's my thing about Halloween. My kids love Halloween, and I try to make it fun and not too spooky. I don't know. My boys are getting older though, so they might start to like the spooky, crazy Halloween. Who knows? We'll see. Okay, now we'll layer on top. We're going to flatten this one down just a little bit so that he has, so that his eyes come in. His eye is sticking out, popping out a little bit more up here, so we have to have his eyelid a little bit more flat. We're going to cut off a little bit of that excess. Oh, come on. Okay, stick them down in there. Oh, watch the fingernails. Okay, oops. Wrong side. Clean him up over here too a little. Okay, so there we've got his lower eyeballs, or eyelids, I guess. Now, for the cool eyebrows. Okay.
Someone's got a kind of fun question for you.
Okay.
They asked, it's not really cake related, but it might be fun to share. How is Halloween in Vegas?
Halloween in Vegas is fine. We tend to stick with our church group does like a trunk or treat, and so we kind of stick with the more mild. We don't do a lot of going around to other people's houses, except for in there's a certain neighborhood that we like to go to that's really fun. They always decorate really fun for Halloween, and our kids get to go with cousins. That's really like it. Okay, so here we go. We're going to have our eyebrow come and glare up here to kind of make him kind of give him some character at the top of his eye. Okay, see how he's coming all the way out here? See that? I'm kind of blend him in a little bit, but not too much. We want his eyebrows to kind of be popping out. So. We're going to smooth him down over his eye just a tiny bit. Okay. We'll add a few lines here above so that you can see a little bit more of that old, spooky kind of look. You can see that. I don't know if you can see the details all that well. Alright, and then we're going to kind of do this one's going to kind of come up. No, let's see. How do we want him? Here we go. We're going to come out and down round. Alright, that'll be fun. Okay. You guys get to see the whole process. when I'm not planning them, it's just kind of play it by ear. There we go. I think that's kind of fun. Okay. And let's move down a little bit again. Give them. Sorry, get my hair in the way. Okay.
Got a question for you.
All right.
Someone said, the fondant tools you are using for definition and details, do they come in a set? Where can I purchase them?
Oh gosh, you know what? I have actually collected my tools throughout the years, and so they don't necessarily come in a set. Um, these ones I actually bought a whole bunch of years ago. I learned how to make flowers by learning from, oh gosh, I can't think of his name. I can't think of his name. Oh, that's terrible. I'll think of it. But anyway, he had, this was one of his tools that he used for veining and things like that, and I purchased that through his website. I think that you can get this tool at several different cake decorating websites, and maybe I can put up some links later on for you that have, you know, where you purchase things. These were all from, there was a kit of like 5 or 6 of them. This one right here, I actually bought these at a craft store. I believe it was Michael's. You can actually, I think Chef Rubber carries these. I'm not sure. I know I've seen similar tools at Chef Rubber, and I would imagine that you can find, you know, so. Long story short, no, it didn't come in a kit. I'm sorry.
There are some people that are saying on the chat that you can get some kits in the craft store if you go to the clay section, though, so it's worth a shot.
Yeah, clay section is really, really great for sculpting tools, and that's where I would recommend that you find, you know, most of your sculpting tools. Okay, we're going to put together our mouth now and our eyeballs. Oh. Usually I have a circle cutter from the back end of piping tip, but I don't think I have any piping tips today. Let's see what you can find for a circle cutter. Otherwise we'll wing it. Okay, so for the mouth, we don't have a really specific outline for it, so I'm going to kind of just hold it up here, and with my finger, I'm just going to kind of, with my fingernail, just kind of do an outline. You guys can see that? So that I know about where to cut. I'll use my pastry wheel. It's all gunky.
Plastic straw work, maybe?
Oh, that's a big straw.
Yeah.
It's a little bit big, though. I'll just wing it.
Okay, sorry.
That's okay. Okay. So looks like that's about right. Okay. So we're going to take our brush, paint on a little bit of water, and stick them on. Okay, there we go. And then we're going to make a few teeth. The great thing about these pumpkins is that their teeth are kind of, you know, you don't have to make them perfect. In fact, you don't want them perfect. You want them to be, I'm going to do kind of some that are flat, sharp like that, and some that are pointy. Try and get some little bit of detail into the mouth area. I don't know if you guys can see what I'm doing here. I am just kind of squishing and manipulating it so that it's just kind of there. And then we'll take some, and he's going to be a little bit, not going to be very toothy. He's going to have some gaps and stuff. Like jack-o'-lanterns usually do, right? Okay, put one over here. And we'll put one up on the top hanging down. Okay, over here. There we go. And we want to make sure that since he's kind of old, he's got this, you know, kind of old thing going on right now. We're going to add some, what do I do with my tool? There it is. We're going to add a little bit of chunky lines in there so it kind of looks like his teeth are rotting a little bit.
We're getting a really bad echo right now. I
Oh,
don't know. It just came up.
that could be. Okay, so you see how I've got. Oh, you can't see the definition now. Darn it. We'll have to do a close-up shot once we're done. Okay, and I'm going to cut a little bit of a circle, if I can get a circle. And again, he's going to be buggy-eyed, so we don't need to have our pupils the same, which is the cool thing about these kinds of things. Okay, how are we going to have him looking? Over here. Aha! Look at us. And then we're going to have this guy over here. Do another circle. We're going to go close to the same. Just because the eyeballs are so different. I kind of want the pupils to be similar, but not too far off. Okay, now I've got this one over here. I'm going to put him where? Down here. Raw. I think that's a good place for him. Kind of go cross-eye level. There. Okay, and then of course to make them a little more realistic, we put just a dot of white in the eye, because that adds the shine kind of effect. We can add right there. And let's go a bit of a dot right there. There you go. Can you see him? Look at him. He's looking pretty cool, I think. Okay. And then we're going to put on the top, and then we're going to airbrush, and then we're done. So one thing that people tend to skip out on is the adding layers of coloring. This would be great, you know, that he's got a lot of detail. He's kind of cool right now. So, I mean, you could leave him at that, but it'll add so much more if we can add the, you know, layers of coloring. Okay, so I'm putting on his little stem up here. The fondant is a little bit marbled, which is kind of a fun effect. We're going to take our big ball tool and kind of indent a little bit up here so that we can see that it's coming out of his head and not just sticking to the top of his head. And then we will take our brush, paint down in there, and plop him down in there. Oh, we've got him a little bit thin. There we go. And there's his top. We're going to fan him out a little bit so he looks like he's a little bit bigger. And then add in, again, make him look a little older, add those lines. That's the more, you know, detail and lines and things you add to something, the more realistic it's going to look, the more fun it's going to be to, you know, the more impressive. And all it is lines. It's not like it's rocket science. A little bit of lines here and there. Kind of give them that gap in his stem. Okay. All right, so there we go.